The Chancellor has doubled down on her decision to increase inheritance tax on farmers. Rachel Reeves spent the day in Belfast to promote the government's commitment to grow the economy.
She also met with the Deputy First Minister, Emma Little-Pengelly, and Finance Minister John O'Dowd, who again made the case for more money for public services. Here's our political correspondent, Vicky Hawthorne.
Quite often the Prime Minister's Support Act. Today the Chancellor was in the leading role. A tour of the new Studio Ulster film facilities in Belfast was a chance to see firsthand the results of the government's City and Growth Deal investment, along with the Stormont executive. But Rachel Reeves has had to deal with perhaps more drama than she would like in recent months. A forced U-turn on welfare reforms, warnings of a possible 40 billion or more black hole in the UK's finances, and the impact of tariffs. Her visit here, the last stop on a tour of the UK. She wants to be seen to be in control of the whole economy.
I believe that the future is bright for Northern Ireland when you have two governments working together in partnership, and that's what we have today. The UK government and the Northern Ireland executive are working together to improve the lives, to improve public services, but also improve the prospects for jobs and growth and prosperity here in Northern Ireland.
The Chancellor's decision to increase inheritance tax for farmers has faced huge opposition in Northern Ireland. She remains unapologetic about her policy.
We needed to raise money to invest in public services, and if people disagree with those tax changes, they either need to admit that they're not willing to put the money into our public services and in that settlement for the Northern Ireland executive, or that they would increase taxes elsewhere, for example on ordinary working people.
The next act of the Chancellor's tour took her to Stormont Castle following an earlier visit to defence firm Thales. This was another opportunity for Stormont ministers to make the case for fair funding for public services here.
It wasn't a superficial engagement, it was an in-depth engagement where we really went through a whole range of issues facing our businesses, our farmers, our economy here. But it's also about the promotion of those opportunities. There will be events coming up over the course of the next 12 months to promote investment in the UK, to promote that investment across the UK.
At levels, they do listen, they're engaging with us. And we will continue to engage with the Chancellor or other ministers ahead of the budget to try and influence as much as they can. But they do have to understand decisions made in London can have a detrimental impact here. And they need to understand the decision-making process they're involved in and engage with us before those decisions are made.
The Chancellor is leaving Stormont with the full understanding that the executive believes she should be delivering more for people here. Rachel Reeves, though, will now be turning her attention to her budget in the autumn. The question is, will it deliver more financial pain or financial gain? Vicky Hawthorne, UTV Live, Stormont Castle.
Well, let's cross live now to Stormont and join our political editor, Tracey Magee. So, Tracey, what was the point of Rachel Reeves' visit today?
Well, I think it was an attempt by a Chancellor under pressure to grab some positive headlines. As we know, we have this more than £40 billion hole in the UK government's budget, and in all likelihood Rachel Reeves may have to increase taxes in the budget. So I think this was her opportunity to come along, bang the drum for economic growth, a big policy for this government. But I have to say it wasn't much more than that. There was quite a lengthy press release issued to coincide with this visit. They talked about fresh investment, new funding. Has to be said, there was not a new penny in anything that was discussed today by Rachel Reeves. This was really more spin than substance.
But there was an opportunity there for politicians here to make their case.
And I think that was important, an opportunity for Emma Little-Pengelly and John O'Dowd to sit across the table to the Chancellor and say, look, we need more money. Also, the fact that they believe that the policies that have been brought in by the Treasury disproportionately affect Northern Ireland, such as national insurance contributions and, of course, this inheritance tax for farming. But I have to say, it was very notable in what was quite a bland, flat press conference. Rachel Reeves became most animated when she was talking about that and doubling down on the whole issue and saying that it was the right decision to make.
So is it simply that the Treasury isn't listening?
I wouldn't go that far. Even John O'Dowd, a Sinn Féin minister, he was making the point that they are listening. It has to be said that the parties have managed to talk the Treasury into increasing the funding. Northern Ireland now gets 24p for every pound that is allocated in England. Our ministers say it needs to be more. It needs to be 28 pence in the pound. Will it make any difference, you ask me, Paul? I think we won't really know until the budget in the autumn.
OK, let's turn to another matter now, Tracey. You spoke to the Deputy First Minister about her trip to Wimbledon. What does she have to say?
That's right. She's come in for a lot of criticism about that trip to Wimbledon and the fact that nearly £1,000 of taxpayers' money was used for the trip. I asked her about it today. I have to say that she, excuse the pun, batted it all away.
Very little to add other than what I've said already, but part of this role is that representative role. You will see that throughout the week, throughout every month, we have many different roles. Part of that is advocacy. That's what we're doing today in terms of emphasising to the Chancellor the needs of the people of Northern Ireland and to ask for that support for that economic growth. But there's also a representative role. I count it a huge privilege to be in this role, and of course if anybody follows my social media you will see that I am out and about on a weekly basis.
Tracey Magee, live at Stormont as ever. Thank you very much indeed.